Intentionally. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to America's Heroes Group live stream media show. My name is Yvette Jones Swanson, and I am a national veterans homeless housing advocate and consultant. I'm also a realtor with Real People Realty. I've been a realtor now for 26 years. And I house homeless veterans. People say, what? And I've housed homeless veterans for the past 22 consecutive years. In fact, I've housed more than 5,000 homeless veterans. And when I say I, and it was me too, um, created those housing solutions for those unhoused homeless veterans. As a realtor, we get to choose who we serve in our community. And I resonate more with veterans since I was too a homeless veteran several times, looking for those resources to get me out of those sticky situations. And as a female former homeless veteran, like a lot of female veterans are, um, situations happen. In my case, it was due to domestic violence, and that's why a lot of us run away and creates that uncomfortable space of being homeless and having nowhere to go and having no resources to even find some glimmer of hope. As a former homeless female veteran, I was in the Army, by the way. I would go to my local VA and ask for help. I'm a homeless female veteran, and my then husband was currently serving in the Marine Corps, and I still had no solution from anyone at the VA. So, as a realtor, meeting other homeless veterans of every walk of life, homeless veterans who lost their jobs, who were discharged homeless, who were released from incarceration homeless, who were seniors and homeless, single parents and homeless, families and homeless, disabled veterans and homeless. I can go on. I think you get the drift, though. All of those veterans have crossed my path, and I know their stories. That's why I can say the category so quickly off the top of my head, because I've housed every single one of those veterans. And every time I encounter a homeless veteran, it feels like a piece of scab is coming off of a sore that was supposed to heal a long time ago. But because I encounter these homeless veterans over and over every single day, sometimes even on the weekend, that scab tends to peel apart. And that sore doesn't feel good. So I want to take care of it. I want it to mend. And the only way I could mend that is to house that veteran who is on the other opposite end of my phone. My name is Yvette Jones Swanson. I am an Army veteran, National Veterans Homeless Housing Advocate and Consultant, Realtor with Real People Realty, and I was just awarded and have my award from the Illinois Department of Veteran Affairs as one of the 25 women veteran leaders in Illinois for 2025. I've been housing homeless veterans for 22 consecutive years. And it won't stop because the veterans, they keep ending up homeless for any of those reasons that we discussed earlier. So what do I do about it in my business? My company, Vet Mentors LLC. My company is SBA certified and VA verified. My company is service disabled, veteran-owned small business, veteran-owned small business, woman business enterprise, minority business enterprise, and a host of others. I have a website, so go look at the website and it'll give you all the information and accolades and the powerful things that we're doing in this community to house homeless veterans. So what I want to talk to you about this evening is my newest, let me see it, well, I'll just tell you the name. U.S. Military Veterans Resources and Educational Book Series. And here's one of those books. So this book, A Realtor's Blueprint, The Veteran's Path to Home, Navigating the Journey from Homelessness to Home Ownership, has been approved by the Illinois Department of Financial Professions, with IDFPR. Illinois Department, IDF, Financial, IDFPR, as a 3-hour elective course. And because of my company, Vet Mentors LLC, being all that it is, I have certified the course. So any realtor who takes this course, any concerned citizen, you're involved in the community and you want to know how to serve as a homeless veteran who crosses your path, because you just won't know unless you get the education. It's not the same way as housing a civilian who has a good job, great credit. They have everything going for them. So when they fill out the application, it's like approved. But when I'm on the other end, I call and I say, hey, and I disclose, because I don't want anything to come between me getting that veteran house, that homeless veteran house specifically. I let them know this is what we're working with, the good and the bad. In your mind is bad, but in my mind is all good. And in some cases, it's a no, because you have veterans who, like I said, first of all, are homeless and they're trying to find an apartment with no money. And you want to tell me you can get a homeless veteran house with no money? And I'll tell you yes all day long, because I know how to use the resources that they have. They could have a HUD-VASH voucher. They could have SSVF funding, that's supportive services for veteran families, and these organizations, $3.2 billion. We're in that fiscal year from 2024 to, I believe, October 2025, October to September. I forgot. But it's $3.2 billion that these organizations have to use to support veterans' homelessness, at risk of being homeless, in need of paying back rent so that they won't be homeless, educational resources. So these organizations have to use that money. But how do you find these organizations, says this homeless veteran, says this family member, says this social worker, because they're limited to knowing just how many resources there are in the community. For instance, when I first started housing homeless veterans at Jesse Brown and Hines VA here in the Chicagoland area, I was working with social workers and case managers who only knew what they were taught in the office. And the office staff only knew what they were taught by whoever or whatever research they had to gather. And then here I come. Well, that's not enough. That's not enough to put a veteran who was homeless, living in a U-Haul facility in a vacant apartment, and he's in a wheelchair. Where is he supposed to sleep? Back on the floor with his pallet of clothes like he did in the U-Haul facility? No. We need an apartment that's fully furnished or have furniture delivered before he even goes to his apartment. And that's exactly what I did. He's in a 2-bedroom condo downtown Chicago overlooking Navy Pier, the White Sox Park, Kaminsky Park is what I still call it, Lake Michigan, and just a beautiful downtown skyline. He was living in a U-Haul facility for more than a year. As a matter of fact, let me talk about my publications. I've got, I believe, 6 series publications right now. This publication, it's called Collaborative Housing Solutions for Homeless Veterans. This publication is for social workers, case managers, human care professionals, and those businesses who have storefronts that you can walk into. For instance, I asked my insurance agents, Charles Caffey. And I said, you have your insurance company right there on 87th Street. And if a homeless veteran walks in, what could you do for that homeless veteran? How could you service him or her? He said, and a lot of people would say the same thing. Oh, you can give them a few dollars, see if they need anything. You're hungry, you know. No, I'm homeless. Well, this book right here, and I teach AI in all of my books. If you've never learned the skill of accessing information and just the whole knowledge of either even using AI, I teach you in this book. In all of the publications that I've written, and they're all on Amazon and also on my websites. Amazon with my name right there, Yvette Jones Swanson, and on my website, vetmentorsonline.com. So in my series, you have the book for social workers, case managers, human care professionals, and those businesses that they see a whole slew of homeless veterans. They're like, I really want to help, but I don't know what to do. Well, this book right here will teach you exactly what prompt to use, how to access ChatGPT, what prompt to use to find the resources that that homeless veteran requires at that moment in that time. For instance, I need to put my glasses back on. We'll look in a different book because I've got 6 of them so far. So I think I just showed you 2. Finding Home. This book has a ton of prompts in it to help you help that homeless veteran. This book has helped homeless veterans as far as Washington, D.C., Hawaii, Florence, South Carolina, Akron, Ohio, Vicksburg, Mississippi. And the reason I put those cities and towns in here is because those are actual veterans who contacted me because they were homeless and they needed those resources in their town in order to access housing, number one, to access their benefits, number 2, to access everything else in life that they're going to need to be comfortable where they're going to be living. Okay, I have written, and this will be a class as well, From Boots to Business. I love this book because it resonates everything I did as a former female veteran, former homeless female veteran, and going through that entire cycle to now having a government-backed company. Vet Mentors is SBA certified and VA verified. I'm a consultant in all of this housing for veterans, however you want to house your veterans, however you want to set up your shop, if that's what you want to do, and whatever you want to do in the veteran community. If you are a veteran, this is the course, and I teach you how to use AI as well, because you're going to need a vision statement, mission statement, business plan. Um, Everything in this book teaches you, not just at that level, but it goes even higher, because in this course, I teach you what prompts, and you may even have other things that, hey, let me think about this and type it in, and there goes your answer. Okay, I am just elated and thrilled about a veteran's blueprint. I have been a realtor for the past 22, no, since 1996, working with homeless veterans for 22 consecutive years. And this is the very first time that I have been able to verbalize, to conceptualize what's in my brain, to bring it out and create a 3 hour approved CE course approved by the IDFPR to teach veterans nationwide how to service a homeless veteran from homelessness to home ownership. And my board here, which is the Main Street Organization of Realtors, they want to be the first to launch this certification class. And that makes me so thrilled and so excited because if I can orchestrate the housing of over 5,000 homeless veterans, myself, and teaching and training a good 2 dozen over the years, you can learn too where you are in your city, in your state. It's powerful getting homeless veterans housed. And as a realtor, I teach you how to control both sides of the transaction without dual agency and disclosing who you are representing. That's it. Now, there's some work involved in all of that. As you know, as realtors, we work hard. And this book also teaches realtors how to become six-figure earners, housing homeless veterans, and then sending them through that whole cycle of being homeless, through their transition, through becoming a homeowner, becoming an investor, and a business owner. We have that knowledge as educated realtors. We do. And this book will show you exactly how to do that. Finally, but not quite, this is within the series, the U.S. Military Veterans Educational and Resources book series by Vet Mentors LLC. And I also have a publishing company. I write the books and also publish the books. DBA Vet Mentors Publishing. So I got a call from a veteran in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm like, ooh, oh, y'all got some veterans down there. So she said, yeah, I've been wanting to do a veteran care home. So bam, I wrote the book, not just for her. She can go on and buy the book on Amazon or on my website, vetmentorsonline.com, and get all the steps from A to Z in this book. Even if you are in any state and you want to do the same thing as to open up a veteran care home, you can get the book too, because I also teach you how to use AI. So the same questions, the same prompts for Atlanta, don't say Atlanta. Just say whatever city and state you're in. I'm like, this is a powerful bit of information. And the reason let me show you this too. I'm in therapy. Yes, as a veteran, I am service connected disabled at a 90%. And at 90%, that came with some injuries, it came with some mental, it came with some physical, it came with some sociological, it came with some things that I needed to work out. And in working those things out, I'm in therapy. And I want to remember what my therapist and I talked about the week before. So I'm like, I have papers all over the place and notebook, which notebook did I put it in, and that sort of thing. So I created Brave Reflections, a journal for veterans in therapy. That's this publication right here. So if you have therapy, then this is the publication you want to get because it allows you to write your therapy notes, your SMART goals. That's what we have to do. How are you feeling today? And then you have things to follow up on within your SMART goals, and your therapist is like, okay, I see you next week. You want to go back to that meeting that you had, that appointment that you had with that therapist, and work on those SMART goals. So come next week, you have something to talk about. You might have did your best, and that was good enough. And you write it down, you document that in your journal, and you can assess how far you're coming every single meeting that you have with your therapist. The third edition, Veterans Buying Real Estate Guide for Today's Market. This book right here teaches veterans how to use your VA loan, how to correct your credit if it's all, you can't get a loan yet, how to access your loan so that you can use it over and over and become an investor and a business owner and go back to the community and house even more veterans. Yeah, that's what this book teaches you right here. And all of my publications are on Amazon and my website. I want to thank you all for stopping by this evening. It really means a lot to me, and also to our organization and to our family of veterans who um, they rely on us, especially the ones who have gotten out of situations. They rely on us to come back and share what we've gathered. We can't hold it's too much for us to bear. So we have to share. You know, we appreciate that. I was a homeless female veteran, and I had no services. One woman was nice to me and told me, "Oh, the YWCA in Evanston." And that's where I stayed until um, this girl, my roommate, came in. She was a security guard, and she carried her weapon, and um, I was scared, and I'm like, I've never been shot before, so I'm just going to have to go back home to the abuser, and I'm pregnant at the time. And I told them that, and they said, well, we don't have any place else for you to go, so if you make a decision to go back home, just be careful. And I went back home, and he was abusive again, and I lost my baby. I was pregnant with the baby girl, and she will be honored because the houses that we build for female veterans who are in a homeless situation, at risk of being homeless because they have nowhere to go, if they are in a battered and abusive situation, if they're in any type of situation where they don't need to be, then they'll be welcome at the Lydia Juanita Maria Transitional Housing Home for Female Veterans. Yeah. So that's my first thing to do. And we will be starting up our workshops again, but this time the workshops, oh my God, they are phenomenal. We have the opportunity to build new homes for veterans. We have the manufacturer who can build off-site, and we have an investor. We just need the land. We just need to say, yes, we want to build. We started a project in Pembroke Hopkins Park last year, and that takes a lot of money. Now, stay tuned for our next show, which is at 5:30, please, because it is going to blow your mind. I do veterans housing and programming. My partner who's coming on, he does the contracts and the procurements. So, and I tell people this, you want to do veterans housing, okay, what you want to do? Because you just can't have veterans come live up in your crib and do what? And do what? Veterans, we need that stimulation, we need that direction, we need those orders. What's our next move? So you have to have a program. And once that program is successful, then you get a contract and procurement. But how do you do that? Well, that's what Derek and I are going to talk about in our next segment that's coming up at 5:30 p.m. So stay tuned. And then after that, we have an after the show wrap up on my YouTube channel at my name, Yvette Jones Swanson, Vet Mentors LLC. And it all comes together. We are thrilled that you've been here this evening on behalf of America's Heroes Group live stream digital media show. You're watching Yvette Jones Swanson, National Veterans Homeless Housing Advocate and Consultant, Realtor with Real People Realty, former homeless female veteran. And I am just thrilled that I'm still here after 22 years of serving in this veteran community space and getting over 5,000 homeless veterans housed. When I said that the first time, people started coming at me. My assistant from back then, she said, Miss Yvette, Miss Jones, it was more than 5,000. Other agents who I trained, who I worked with, they said, yeah, Yvette, it was more than 5,000. You have to understand, housing homeless veterans before former President Barack Obama reenacted the Homeless Veteran Act, veterans were just homeless. There were no resources. And that's probably why I didn't get any. So stay tuned for our next broadcast to see how we're putting this homeless veterans and these contracts together to help you house even more homeless and unhoused veterans. Thanks for watching.